Indoor.
Yeah, I'm shooting indoors, but that's it. Oh, Ben's recording the call. I love it. You're busted now. I love it.
Look at you guys talking about how much snow there is.
Dude, it's terrible.
A lot of stupid stuff people don't care about. Okay. Welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. My name's Ben. We're here to talk about shooting. On deck today, Mr. Joel Park.
Hello, everyone.
And from French Canada, Mr. Alex.
Yes, we.
We. All right, thank you for coming on, Alex.
Oh, my pleasure. It's been a while.
It has been a long time. My Skype says months.
Probably.
It makes me sad. All right, guys, you know the rules. Everybody comes here with a topic, something fun to talk about, something that pisses you off, something spicy, or something to show and tell. So, Joel, I'm sure you'd like to go first.
Oh, gee, I would love to. Well, I want to talk about expectations for drills. So I had a bit of an epiphany last month for the training group I organize. I normally look at the list of people that signed up, and I pick drills that I think will be most beneficial for the group, since I have a pretty good idea of like each person that's shooting and what they're strong or what they need to work at. So I've got quite a mix of skill levels signing up now. And so like there's one tomorrow night, I've got 12 people. So spending a lot of time thinking like, how do I challenge the higher level people and have something that's obtainable for the people just getting started, have everyone benefit, like trying to please everyone. So then this light bulb came on and I realized the expectations change, but the drills stay the same because at any level, there is room to improve. So if I have a higher level person shooting, I'll be more critical and pick apart smaller things that I don't like or that maybe they could do better. And for the person just starting out, then maybe it's larger things. But the drills stay the same. So that was like a light bulb moment. So, you know, it may seem like common sense to some, but you get what you pay for if I'm helping you. So I'm definitely getting more effective.
No, people's common sense is like that if you're at a higher level, your shooting training is fundamentally different than at a lower level. Like fundamentally, you're learning how to hold your gun properly and put the bullets where you want them to go.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so it's not really that much different.
Oh, I was like, yeah, because at first I think they thought like I was going to teach them some high-speed ninja stuff. And now, I mean, go figure, I use a lot of Ben's drills because they work. And so I'm using like practical accuracy. It's like, okay, like I want these all in the same hole from you. Like literally, I want to see the same bullet hole just getting a little bit bigger. You know, like not hitting the A box. And then maybe they got a little pre-ignition push. I'm like, okay, let's do some dry fire, some trigger control at speed, you know, like that kind of stuff. And it's like, and then maybe the next person, like, hey, if you're hitting the A box, that's great. But like you're striving for perfection with all that stuff. You're shooting, you know, doubles. Yeah, getting A's is good, but couldn't your group be tighter? You know, it's like anything, all of it could be better. So, yeah.
Well,
yeah, man.
No, I mean, you're talking sense, Joel, which is not unusual for you.
I try.
So I'm not even really impressed.
Well, gee, thank you very little.
You just generally say smart things, so.
I try to pay attention. But anyway, it was a struggle for a while because I was really like, I want everybody to have a good time, and so I'm like, you know, what am I going to do that's everybody's going to get something out of and everybody's going to benefit from? I'm like, oh, I'll just have them do what I want them to do, and I will change what I expect from them. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Burdock.
Well, actually, it's not going to be a this week in shooting, but more of a overall the beginning of this shooting season for me. I haven't been shooting much so far this winter. I've been training indoor at a static lane, just one lane, doing like fundamental stuff, a lot of double drills, and just basic stuff. Just getting the feel of the gun. And I was just not sure if it was a good idea to go shoot like a big match right in the middle of the off season. So I did shoot the Florida Open like about a month ago. And actually, I really enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed the fact that shooting a big major match in the middle of like it's February, It's full of snow in Montreal, and I was not training movement, nothing at all. I was just training indoor a little bit, doing some dry fire. Showed up there, and it kind of just tuned my overall training for this year. So I looked at what went right and what I could improve on at the match from my results from shooting my videos and stuff, and the overall performance there. And it just, I know some stuff went really good and I'm happy with that. And I just figure out like which is the low hanging fruit. And it just, it helped me tremendously for just reorienting my training for this shooting season. And usually that will happen at a first major match, like in April or May. And it's already like, well, fuck, it's like 2 months, like 2 months before nationals. And like, it's so short. Like I need more time to train. Well, that part is like, I broke the ice in February, and now I know like as soon as it gets nicer out, I know what to work on. Like, so I thought it was pretty cool, and I'll probably do something similar in the future as well. So
Had you been to that match before?
no,
Florida Open?
it was my first time.
Because
And
that match is known for being exceptionally tough.
it is.
It suits your skills, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
Alex is good at hitting things far away. Little.
Well, that's a good skill to have. I'm envious.
Me too. Fuck.
Well, we can always get better, but yeah, it's a tough match, very technical. They throw you out like with random, like weird stuff you don't see around much. Usually they put on crazy hard swingers, but this year they looked hard. But once you knew how to engage them and from like stage plan, they were not actually crazy hard. You were just shooting them, and that was not a problem. But there was some crazy weird shot, very risky. And but yeah, I guess this kind of match is all about being consistent and shooting points, especially for production minor. So I mean, not there's production major, but just minor scoring.
Got it.
overall.
Right. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Don't think about it too hard, Alex.
Yeah.
You're okay.
So yeah, I really enjoyed the match, and it tested everything that I needed to know if I need to work on or not.
So the main thing is you felt it was beneficial to go in and kind of shake the rust off.
Yeah, like early in the year.
So now you kind of got your major match cherry popped or something for the year. So now you're like, you
Yep.
feel more prepared.
Yep. Actually, like last year it was Area 6 in April, and that was still like that was my first major match outside, like first major match of the season. And like you have like a month and a half, then it's like Czech Republic for Extreme Euro, and it just goes on and on and on and never stops. And so early this season, like March, April, there's a little bit more time to work on stuff and just know where you're going. And I like that.
Well, we're going to have plenty of time here because Nationals is until November for production.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. But
So
I
this
mean,
will not be an issue for us.
no, but that's going to be a long season actually for you guys. I mean, I plan on going, but Canadian Nationals is actually end of July. So
Oh wow.
Well, that makes sense. It's about a week before the snow falls, then.
maybe.
No, it's like 2 months before. Come on.
No, it's gonna snow.
Troll.
Like snows in November.
I've actually seen snow in Calgary in July.
That must be very rare.
I think it is.
But which sucks for me is nationals in November, or end of October or something. It's like it's gonna get cold here, so
You won't be able to train up for that, will you? It'll have to be indoor training for you then. Will you be outside shooting?
at the last month, yeah, like October, maybe mid-October I can still go outside, but then I don't like shooting in the cold, so
Yeah, me neither.
like fuck this.
I don't think anybody likes it.
Uh,
I like, 55, 60 degrees, um, some cloud cover, low
Yeah.
wind.
Yeah.
Not that I'm picky,
Sign me up.
but pretty much like within like 2 degrees of that is perfect.
How many days of those do you get a year?
Like 2, maybe.
I was gonna say 3.
Yeah, doesn't happen that much.
No.
All right, I have
Ben,
a
what
quick.
do you want to talk about?
I have a quick show and tell. And then we'll do 2 questions because this is so quick and one of the questions really feels pointed at me. So let me show you. Here, I have a shirt. I think you got one of these, Joel.
Hey, what a coincidence. I was
Yeah,
actually wearing one
Joel's
today.
wearing it. So
Yeah,
this is the Ben Barry at USPSA.Ninja has been doing a good job making fun T-shirts, including Split Skit Chicks and Fear the Beard. These are fun shirts. This one has a picture of what appears to be a Tanfolio on it, and it says nickel-plated sissy pistol. And he was kind enough to send this shirt to me.
I believe there's a guy that uses that term a bit to reference his Tanfolio, and I think that's where Ben got the
Who's the guy?
inspiration. Me.
Oh, well, I mean,
That's why I have serial number 1 and you have serial number 2, my man.
well, it is a sissy pistol.
It is. It's awesome. I love that gun.
Yeah, it's a good gun. So anyway, that shirt's excellent, and thank you, Ben Barry, for sending that to me.
yeah,
I
he actually
appreciate
sent
that.
me the Canadian version. Shirt, the
What's the
A-class.
Canadian version?
Well, not the Canadian version of like.
Oh, it's the A team.
Yeah, the A team. Because
Yeah,
apparently Canadians say A lot,
I've heard that.
but I don't. I'm French Canadian, so I don't say it. But like they say that So
Well, you guys,
I've seen Fargo. I get
you
it.
guys
Yeah.
speak in French talk there,
yeah,
which I'm not sure is better.
Yeah, we say like tabarnak and
Yeah, you got that's
Like
not
swear
nice
words.
to say on the fucking podcast. What's wrong
No.
with you?
it's fucking after dark.
It's after dark, but it doesn't mean you could be coming in swearing like that. That's intense.
Oh man. Anyways, I was just
fuck.
pointing out an example, but yeah, no, great shirts. They're comfortable too.
Yeah, so I'm happy with
super
that.
comfortable.
Not necessarily product placement, but if you send me free shit, I'm Anyway, okay. So let's move on to some questions here. Like I said, this first one feels pointed at me, and I'm not sure I really have a good answer for it, but I'm going to read it anyway. Hey, Ben, this topic is not necessarily shooting related. It's more about time and effort management, tracking things when you have more than one thing to track, and your level of participation is more than just a casual weekend warrior. I'm starting to appreciate the amount of thought, effort, and attention that must be required for you to stay on top of things. It seems like you have multiple big things and probably a bunch of smaller things that need to be tended to on a regular basis. I'm probably missing more than a few, but major matches and all the time related to training and travel, on-site classes across the country, practical shooting training group, which is a huge effort in and of itself, content creation, member video reviews, private online coaching. For my professional life, I know it's quite a task to keep a focus on multiple things without sacrificing on the quality of the end result. I can't imagine you're a fan of ad hoc solutions, so what long-term strategy and specific tools do you use to keep track of progress of all your projects and efforts? Fuck. Joel, do you even know how to begin to answer that if you were me?
Let me just give you a little tidbit about Ben. So Ben works all the time, pretty much literally. So obviously I chat with Ben a bit. We were talking last night, I don't know, maybe 11 o'clock or so, and I went to bed about 11:30. I don't need much sleep. I was up at about 4, went to bed at 11, woke up about 4, and Ben was already up, or was just getting up, and he replied, and we were chatting at like 4 this morning, and he was already doing video reviews. Like, he was like pounding those out. So yeah, Ben's always working.
Yeah,
And
that's
so that's the part about working for yourself, I suppose, or being your own boss, is that he really doesn't, like, even when he's on vacation, he's still working, I suppose.
Yeah, so basically, I would say for me, I establish goals, like this is what I want to have done when, and then scheduling. So I have a calendar that I kind of schedule my life around based on different things that I'm doing. Uh, Goals, calendar, habits. So I have habits and systems in place to ensure that shit gets done. So, for example, on the daily, unless I'm, sitting on an airplane, which does happen from time to time, on the daily, I'm going to check my email. On the daily, I'm going to be in training group, like looking after that and doing whatever it takes to make sure that that stuff's done in a relatively timely fashion. And then uh, stuff like podcasts, content creation for training group, that stuff is done way ahead of time and queued up so that generally speaking, when I have time, I pound out a lot of it so that when I don't have time, it's sitting on a server somewhere waiting for me. So that's basically it. I mean, I just have the habits in place where I get up and like every day I look after email and training group stuff. Every day I have I have my life planned around a calendar. And then the other thing is I don't think about any of it all that hard. I just get up and do it. If my calendar says I get on a plane this day and I go to that place for X number of days, I just do it. I get on the plane and I go there. And I don't sweat details that I can't really manage. So like specifically what hotel I'm staying in or where I'm renting a car from. This is stuff that I don't worry about. I just don't. The stuff that I do worry about is making sure that the stuff I need to look after gets done. And then I, put everything in a queue and I just do it every day, like regardless. Yeah, he did miss a big one there. I'm working on a book right now too.
Oh yeah. I would say Ben makes this look a lot easier than it really is. Like I'm not saying that because we're friends, but seriously, no. You make it look easy, and I talk to you enough, and I know enough about what's going on. Or I don't want to talk too much about it. Ben was not able to get to a computer. He was busy traveling. And he was messaging me like, hey, how many video reviews are up in training group right now? Like, how many questions do I need to answer? Like, he's not available to be doing that, but he's still worried about like what work is waiting for me and how late am I going to be up doing this basically?
Yeah, because I'm going to be up and I'm going to do it till it's done. It's typically the way it goes.
But you make it look easy. So people think like, oh, I could do that. And it's like,
good luck,
dude, like I'm not jealous of that at times. So like, to date this a little bit, you just got home from being gone for 3 weeks, and You're home for 3 days, I think. 2 days?
No, it's more like 3.5 days. And then I'm gone. Okay. Then I go to Russia for a while.
And then you're gone for a while, and then you told me then you come home for a couple days.
Yes.
And then you're gone again for another week and a half.
But again, like I have everything organized so that I'll take the tools I need with me to get the shit done that I need to get done, and then I'll kind of pre-roll enough stuff while I'm gone so that it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. It's like systems, habits, like those are the things that you need, and scheduling out your stuff and staying on top of it. So I don't know how much I work normally. I would say
18 hours a day.
No, it's not that much. It's maybe I average 10 hours a day. Like across a 7-day week at probably 70 hours a week. That's pretty normal. That's not weird for me, but not everybody likes that. I mean, I'm fine with that.
But we've been literally chatting when you're doing a video review at 1:00 in the morning at wherever the place you're at.
Well, yeah, I mean, for example, yesterday I got off a flight I flew Sydney to LA to Minneapolis, and then I went and I slept. And I think I don't remember what time I went to bed, maybe 10 p.m. or something. And then my plan was I will wake up when my body clock wakes me up, which happened to be 3 a.m. And then when my body clock wakes me up, I start work, and then I stop work when work's done. And, it's now 8:30 p.m. and I'm still working because the podcast had to get scheduled and had to get done. Yeah. So it's just systems, habits, and scheduling. And don't sweat dumb details that I don't give a shit about. A lot of it is, I should say I'm surrounded by very competent people that in some cases work for free, like Joel, and in other cases, like work for money. But basically the people around me kind of like Like if there's stuff that I don't need to worry about it, I truly don't worry about it, like at all. If it's handled, it's handled. If it's not handled by me, it's handled by somebody that I trust. Like for example, the podcast wouldn't happen if Pro Shop Tim did not rip the audio and upload it. Like I put the podcast where I'm supposed to put it, and then I don't sweat the details unless there's a problem. And that's just the way things go. If Joel's like, hey, dum podcast didn't launch today. I'm like, oh fuck. Okay, then I look into it and take care of it. But there's enough people around me handling things that I don't need to worry about it. And then a lot of stuff that I do is automated. So it appears like it's hyper professionally run, but really it's like automated stuff on a server. For example, when you buy a book from Amazon, like I don't touch that. Like you can't return it to me. Like I'm not involved in the transaction. It's all handled by computers. And that's like the only way that can function, because I wouldn't have time to do it. Okay, let's go on to a less specific question. Good morning. I have a couple questions. If they've already been answered, please direct me to the appropriate previous podcast. Yeah, good luck, buddy. See, this is one of those details I don't sweat, like titling podcasts. All right. Number one, stage and match design. I'm a new president of our shooting association. I've only been competing in the USPSA for 3 years. I've listened to you talk about what makes a good stage, but what makes a good match setup. We have 6 bays and was wondering what the best course setup would be. Is it good to do a balance, too short, too medium, too long, more field courses, more medium, more to short courses, et cetera? Is it better just to have simple courses to cater to the majority of shooters, or should there be more challenges for the top level shooters? I just need help finding the right balance. On average, we have 50 at our monthly USPSA matches. That's a pretty interesting question. What do you think? Alex?
Well,
Bring that Canadian perspective in,
Yes, exactly. So I come from the IPSC type of matches where they do the 3-2-1, 3 short, 2 mediums, and 1 long course. And I really like that balance. And what makes a good match overall is balance. So not all field courses, not like the short courses don't have to be speed shoots. They can be they can have different positions. They can have a swinger. They can have weird positions. There's a thing nobody does a match and plans to do a bad match. Like they all want to do a great match and they want everyone to have fun. Eventually, you kind of get your own style of stage designs. And I personally like a lot of running, leans. I like to go prone and stuff and weird positions. And then you hear the people that come locally to your match and they have bad knees and they don't give a shit about going prone or stuff like that. So I guess you have to consider it. But just the right amount of balance of tough shots or adding a lean to a normal target to make it tough, or adding some steel with distance change up and
what
stuff.
would you say though in terms of the stage, the stage balance?
What do you mean?
Well, he has 6. The guy has 6 bays to work with.
6 bays, that's a lot. He can.
Well, it's a lot by your standards, but for us, in the U.S., most guys are one stage to a bay. Is typically the thing.
Yeah. So I mean, if he wants to do a match with 6 stages and has 6 bays,
he could do whatever he wants, right?
Yeah, basically whatever he wants. He could run a 10 stages match, but with 6 bays. But yeah, I would say it's fun to have a stage where it's a little you have to blend it all. Some shooting on the move, some hosing stuff, some technical stuff, some leans. Just mix it up and I guess try to be as creative as you can. Anyways, I mean, there's never going to be, I think, a bad match unless you're really lazy and you just put everything so close for 6 stages. I mean, personally, that I would come, I would shoot, I would try to learn something from it, but I would not come back, probably.
One of the things I really like is when match directors solicit feedback. So a match that I like very much is the Iowa section match, which is close to me. So I will get messages, and I know he does it for other competitors too. Like, what did you like about the match? What did you not like about the match? And he runs that. There's a couple of guys that run that match, but they run it based off of what a competitor would want. So like they upload scores like every, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, something like that. There's a dude always walking by. They've got Wi-Fi always syncing up the tablets. So like scores are constantly being updated. There's water on the stages. Lunch is provided. You know, it's like he thinks of it as if he was a competitor, if he went to the match, what would he want? You know, and then giving, I think, his staff some free reign to make the stages what they want to be. So it's maybe not all stuff that he would necessarily pick himself, but just kind of letting them do their own thing. They only have maybe 4 bays. They're real deep bays, but they're not as wide. So it's kind of tough. You wouldn't put 2 stages at the end of it like side by side to shoot them at the same time. So they put one kind of in the middle of that bay off to the side, like maybe off to the right side, another one in the back of the bay on the left. And then they have a schedule that works. It works really well. And they have short, medium, and long courses. Same deal. Where there'll be like one where I jammed up like an 18 hit factor or 17 hit factor last year. It was like just muzzle contact distance, like just as fast as you can slam them. But then they also have somewhere spaced out with movement, some activator sequence, some long courses, like an all steel stage. So there's like a variety of everything. So it doesn't feel like, you know, if you went to a match, you're like, oh, they're all going to be hoser stages, or they're all going to be super tough. That wouldn't be as interesting. So I like the mix a lot. And then looking at it from just the attitude of, if I was a competitor, what would I want to go to?
Well, there's 2 things here specifically that I would comment on. With 6 bays, 6 stages, you could do very easily. I personally would enjoy going to a match that had a mix of short, medium, and long courses. And when I say short courses, I mean not Virginia count, like not stipulated engagement
not a
orders.
classifier. Yeah,
not that. I mean an interesting stage where it's maybe the way you approach it is like there's a few ways to go about it. That I would find interesting. And by medium course, I don't mean, you know, just a 2-position stage with, I don't know, what do you think, 16 rounds or 20 rounds or something that's very straightforward. I mean, you make a stage that you think is really interesting, and it like could be a lot of movement, a lot of whatever, a lot of different positions. And you design a stage, you build it, and it happens to be 17 rounds or something. And you like the stage the way it is. And normally people would come in and be like, well, it's only 17 rounds. We can just put out more targets and get in more rounds.
You do just 3 per.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't do that. You just leave it the way it is and let it be like that. If you have stages mixed up like that, I find that very interesting personally. I think in a lot of respects, if you design a good stage and it's 19 rounds, like adding more targets in many cases subtracts from the stage, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So that'd be one comment. And the other thing is, I would not cater to the majority of shooters, because once you start doing that, the clubs that do that never really stop. It's like you should just make the stages that you want to make and kind of make the stages a fair cross section of what you think USPSA is to you. You know, don't dumb it down for people. Just make it what it is. You know, their clubs have rules, or, you know, not written rules, but they'll have kind of unspoken rules like, hey, we're not going to do like kneeling positions because old people, and we're not going to do backwards movement because new shooters, and we're not going to do long shots because bad shooters, or whatever. I mean, if you just don't have rules like that and just make it a cross section of the sport, make it interesting to you, that's a good thing. So I like that. I don't like, we need to challenge the top level shooters. So we put partials and hardcover all over everything, or make the shots excessively far, stuff like that. That I don't think is necessary or entertaining. I mean, it's not necessary or entertaining to me. All it does is like hammer people with penalties, and it makes the stages not fun for me, because all I'm worried about is not getting a penalty on the stage, which is not that exciting. So that'd be some comments I have about balance. It's like, make it what you want to make it. Like, have a vision for it, make it that. Be okay with people. You got to kind of find the balance where there's people complaining about like, hey, this low position hurts my knees. It's kind of like, well, dude, like you're 70. I don't really have a solution for you. Versus if you have 3 prone positions in the same stage, like that's sort of unnecessary and silly, regardless of people's fitness level. Like that's a lot of prone. That's kind of silly. So make it what you want to make it interesting, but don't make it, excessive or silly. And that's a tough balancing act to find. Okay, should I move on to another question?
Yeah.
This guy's a 2-parter. All right, I've stepped up my dry fire routine. I ordered a dry fire practice book. I'm taking a class this spring. Nationals really opened my eyes. So during dry fire, if I mess up the draw, reload, transition, etc., is it better to stop and reset, or do I power through and complete the drill? I don't want to reinforce bad habits, but in an actual event, we don't get do-overs. I had a couple of opinions from local shooters, but would like the panel's opinion.
I think you're going to hit the nail on the head. What are you going to do at a match? Like,
Well,
sorry, time out. I got a bad draw.
Mulligan.
Yeah, like, restart me. I got a bad draw.
I mean, stopping and resetting is a bad habit. Like if that is your habit, if you're habituated to doing that, that's not a good thing. You're generally speaking, if you start a drill, you complete it. Doesn't really matter what happens. You start it, you complete it.
But at least like recognize that you did a mistake.
Yes, recognizing knowing what the fuck is going on is good.
Because like in a match, like I'll have a bad grip. Like I don't have like that perfect grip all the time, and sometimes I'll draw and like, oh shit, this grip is bad. But like I'll just say, okay, well, fuck it, just fight through it, and I'll grip really hard with my sport hand. Like I'll focus on that and just fight through it, and I'll correct that when I move or something, and it works out fine. It's just, but like there's no other way around it.
One thing I think for me in practice is like not making a bad situation worse. So if I'm doing a drill and maybe my draw is a little bit messed up, or I fumble a reload or something, it's like, if that happened to be in a match, how would I get back on my plan, or like make the best of what's going on and not letting it just turn into a train wreck where you go to war on some piece of steel or something dumb like that. So
well, the other thing is, if you pay attention to times, during your training, you're doing a drill and you fuck it up, it's actually can be sort of enlightening how you'll feel a big mistake. Like let's say you miss a reload, bobble it quite badly, then you stick it in and you complete the drill. And really it only cost you 0.4 of a second or something. You know what I mean? That can be very enlightening, where you understand, okay, that was a mistake, but it's not like it didn't kill my match. It's not like it's quit time. It's like, okay, there's a little bobble. All right, shit happens. I'm not going to worry about this too much.
Yeah, your perception of time.
Yes, your perception of time or the severity of mistakes. Like it's important to get that kind of squared up with reality.
I agree with that, because there have been times where I thought like, man, that was easily 1.5 seconds wasted. And then when I'm watching it on video afterwards, I'm like, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. Or maybe if I didn't point it out to you, you wouldn't realize it. Well, you would, but maybe the average person wouldn't, that kind of a deal. So it's not as bad as you think.
And then you realize that you try to go faster to make it up, and you shot bad points instead of just like, okay, well, I did a mistake. Let's just shoot all ace for the rest of the stage.
Yeah. And
you actually just gain, like you just don't lose as much.
Make a bad situation worse.
Exactly.
Well, you know what, guys? I think that was another bang up podcast. So thank you for coming on. Listeners, if you have a question you'd like the answer to, go to bensigger.com. Send me your question. Love to hear from you. Yeah, we're going to stop recording now. I got to